All right. All right, I think we are live. Let me double check one. Well, I guess we're still waiting for that thing to catch up. So, hi everybody and welcome back. My name is Triston from SEO Ninja, and this is our weekly live stream where we answer people's questions and we look at stuff and we do things together as a group because it's fun and we just answer questions. So, if this is your first time here, then let me go ahead and give you the quick rundown. We are doing these live streams every Tuesday evening, 5 p.m. Mountain Time for me. And the goal is to take questions from the comment sections of my different videos and answer them. And if you do have a question you'd like us to answer in a future video, leave it in the comments of this video or in the other videos. And if you have a quick question that's something we can handle during this live stream, then go ahead and use the chat for that. If you want us to take a look at a website, if you want us to take a look at a keyword research or anything like that, then please consider using the what's it called? The super chat, because that helps to pay the bills. So let's go ahead and switch over to my computer so we can see what is going on. There we go. All right, I'll turn on the other screen. Oops, wrong one. This one. There we go. All right. I think we're working. Not sure why my it's not showing up over here. There it goes. Cool. So today's question comes from Dial M4 Microcontroller, which is kind of a fun name. I enjoyed that. And his question is about migrating a website from one platform to another. So specifically, he had a website that was built on a platform called Jimdo, which is this right here. And it's kind of like, a WordPress, Weebly, it's another website builder. And his situation's a little unique. And so I want to answer his question specifically first, and then I'll talk about the average user. So what's going on in his case is he has his website right here, and he has provides like hosting services and things like that. And this is really cool, but he says that he is starting a full-time job, and so he's not able to work on this as much as he was able to do before, and therefore he kind of wants to keep the site active and everything, but he's not going to be doing anything with it for the next couple of years. And so he's looking for a way to cheaply keep it running without having to spend a lot of money or do anything like that. So in this particular case, because the site isn't going to be used for a long time, then I would actually recommend going with something that's going to be even cheaper than going with Weebly, because Weebly Prices, I'm going to pull them up over here. I actually have a video that talks about the different Weebly plans, and I have a link to that. I believe it's in the description of this video. If not, I will add it later. But it's on the channel. You shouldn't have any trouble finding it. Weebly's cheapest plan starts off at like $15 a month or $14 a month. And so even so, comparing that with Jimdo's pricing, it's actually going to be a little bit more expensive if you were to switch it over to Weebly. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't want to do that, but you may want to stick with the platform that you have. Unless, of course, you're doing the Jimdo business plan here. There are other options available, though. So, Weebly is cool. Weebly's fun and everything, but it's far from being the only way to host a website like this. And so, my personal opinion, if you're looking for the cheapest, fastest, and easiest way to do this, I would actually suggest that you have somebody transfer the website over to WordPress. And then I would tell you to set up your domain, transfer the domain over to something like Namecheap, where you can spend $9 a year, or you can spend $20 a year and get some more features and stuff like that. But for what you need, this would probably be perfect. And you can actually purchase, you can spend $10 and get the whole year for free. Well, not for free, but you'd be spending just a little bit more as compared to 1 month over here. Another option would be to take it over to HostGator, and you can do the same thing. Over here it's going to be $5 a month. So this is $60 as compared to $90 on this plan, or $240 on this plan. So it's still quite a bit cheaper than if you were to leave it where it is. So I hope that makes sense. I really hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's what I would do. And I actually have somebody who can recreate websites like that very quickly and cheaply. if you want to do that. And so her charge for that is about $200, and it starts at $200, and basically she'll take the entire website, which we have right here, and she will copy it over into WordPress, mimicking the layout, all the context, all the pictures and everything. And so if you were to do that, I mean, even spending, like I said, that'd be $200 plus $10 for this. So you're looking at $210, and that's still going to be $30 cheaper than this plan. But you're also going to have that for life, and you only have to pay for hosting, and again, that's going to be significantly cheaper. So that's an option. That's what I would do in your particular case. But I think that most people aren't going to be in that same situation where the website's going to be dormant, and they're going to want some other features and other options that are available, for the website. So for the average user, the first thing that I would tell you is, I'm trying to think of a polite way to say this. Just because you have a website doesn't mean you have a good website. Sometimes it's better to go ahead and let the website just die and start over fresh. Have somebody help you build it. So where am I going to go? Let's go ahead and leave this here for a second. But at the same time, there are reasons to transfer your website, your URL, from one platform to another. And I would say that you should transfer your website to a different platform if you need more features, if you have limited design options. So like if you absolutely have to change the layout of your site or something, and you just don't like the way it looks, or like if you don't have a mobile friendly website, that will kill you for most of the traffic these days. And so that would be a good reason to change platforms if the one that you're using right now doesn't allow for mobile optimization. For price, so like if you have something that's just really expensive, you'll probably want to change. If you have any sort of usability issues, which again kind of has to do with like the mobile optimization, or if you're not able to log into it, or if you need like a CMS that where you can add content to the site more easily, if you need like a blogging platform. For example, we use Adobe Muse a lot for some of our websites, but there's no way to easily update that information. There's no way to easily add like a blog or anything like that. It's very complicated. If you want to add any sort of blogging feature, you actually have to steal it from another website if you're going to do that. And so it just didn't make sense for us to keep using that platform for a lot of the sites that we're using, because we need that usability, and we also need our clients to be able to log in and make those changes that they want to their website, which is something you can do with Weebly, something you can do with WordPress. I believe you can do it with Wix as well. And then the last reason that I would suggest that you go ahead and you change platforms is if the platform that you're using has any sort of native advertising on it. So like with Wix and WordPress and sites like that, then it will actually still show Wix.com or get your free website at Wix or website provided by Weebly. And if you're doing anything, especially in a business, anything where you're trying to look at least semi-professional, you really, really don't want that. And you're definitely going to want to have that professional image, have a professional email, and have a website that is yours. And in those cases, again, I would at least suggest upgrading, but if you can't afford the upgrade, then you'll probably want to look at, again, kind of a long-term option, which would be something like WordPress. Whew! Okay. Goodness gracious, it's hot and I'm talking way too much. So that's when I would migrate a site from one platform to another. Now, on the reverse side of that, reasons I would not do that is if you're not getting the results that you want on your website, then that means that there's a problem with the optimization of your site, or there's a problem with the SEO of your site, or there's a problem with the layout of your site. That means that there's an actual problem with the way the site's been built, as far as what's the word I'm looking for, like the user interface. And so again, unless you have those design limitations, then you'll probably want to stay on there. You just need somebody to fix your website. Hi, Armand. The second reason I wouldn't change my website or my platform is because of the traffic that I'm getting. Again, traffic, the whole search engine optimization, social traffic, and all those other things, those don't really have anything to do with the platform, except for some very specific cases, which would be things like Wix, where with Wix, for example, their code's a little bit different. The website's still ranked, still get traffic, but it's a little different. And so if you're hesitant to work with that, then you might want to look at something else. But at the same time, Wix works perfectly well, and so it's just an example, probably not a great example. And then finally, I wouldn't migrate just because somebody told you that was better for SEO. So again, looking at Wix. Wix right now is fine. It works, it does everything that it needs to do. I see a lot of comments from people saying, oh yeah, Wix is awful and I shouldn't do this, or Weebly's awful for SEO. And most of these people who are saying that things are bad for SEO usually don't know what SEO is or how SEO works. Sorry to be mean by saying that, but it's the case more often than not. And those opinions don't really have a big effect on the optimization of your site or how the SEO works. So for example, everybody says, oh no, WordPress is the best thing for SEO. Well, let me show you something real quick. So this is my traffic over the last 90 days on a WordPress site, okay? And I am an SEO, I do these things all day long. I'm up to about 1,100 sessions. That's not too bad. I've actually had almost 500 sessions over the last 30 days, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 480. So I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty confident and happy with that. I have like 10 posts on here, and it's going pretty good. Now, here's the butt ugly version of the same site that I've been working on now for 6 years, 5 years, something like that. And in its peak, when I was actually working on this thing, regularly, I was getting 1,800 hits a month. So that's almost 3 times. That's more than 3 times more than what I'm getting over here. So just to give you an idea, it's not the platform that really makes a big difference as far as the SEO. It's what you're adding to the site and how you're driving traffic to that. So if somebody says that a particular platform doesn't work well for SEO, I didn't finish why I was talking about WordPress. The reason that people like WordPress, especially SEOs, is because we have a lot of tools that are built into WordPress or things that we can add into WordPress through like plugins, and it just makes our lives a little bit easier, it's a little bit faster. So things like Yoast SEO, this lets us know if we have good posts and if our keywords are being used enough times and stuff like that. But for the most part, it really doesn't make any difference. It makes the human factor, it makes the things that you need to do a little bit easier because it gives you like a checklist, but you could also write down the checklist and just go through it as you're doing your Weebly stuff. So that's that. Yeah, okay. So if you do decide that you need to transfer your website from one provider to another, from one platform to another, there are a few options available. So like, talking about Weebly. So Weebly isn't too bad. You do have some issues when you actually want to import a website. You can export just fine, but importing's a bit of a trick. I'm trying to see if I can remember where it is. I think it's over here under theme. And edit the HTML. Here we go. So you can actually upload websites, or at least parts of websites here to the platform, but it's really a pain in the butt, and it's not something that I would recommend. It's just not worth it. It's going to be faster and easier, and probably look better if you were to take the content off of the site, like copy all of the text. Let's move this, open this one up real quick so I can show you. So if you were to go and copy all the text like from one of your blog posts and then drop it over here, that's probably going to be the easiest and the fastest way to do it. It's also going to be the least expensive. Now, if you want to go from Weebly to another platform, that's actually a lot easier. You go to Settings, you scroll all the way down over here to where it says Archive. You put your email address in here and you push the Email Archive button, and it will take that information. It takes all the HTML code from your website and it sends it to you in a file. And then you can take that file and you can upload it to your hosting provider and leave it like that. So for example, this is a Weebly website that is just an archive, and so I took that archive, took the HTML, and I uploaded it directly to my server, and now I have a website that's sitting here, and this is free, and so I don't have to pay for this anymore. All my features are still built into it. It works pretty good, looks pretty good. It's actually still getting a lot of traffic too, which always surprises me. I think this one's still getting 200 or 300 visits a month, and this is ranking for translation in a couple of cities. I think it's back out in like St. Louis or something like that. So that's me, sort of. I wish that was me. But like I said, this is an option, and this is probably going to be one of the easiest ways to go. Now, the one downside to this is that unless you know how to edit the code, or you have some way to edit the code, then Weebly will still put its what's the word? Its branding down here at the bottom. Say, hey, this website was made with Weebly. Click here to learn more. And just because I know how to edit that kind of stuff, I was able to come in and change that. Another good option if you do want to decide to switch to a different platform, I honestly think that WordPress isn't too bad, and especially since it's going to be a lot cheaper than anything else. Because with WordPress, I'm not spending anything on my website. I only have to pay for hosting. And so considering I have like 20 different websites on this particular hosting program, or this particular account, and I'm paying $10 a month for it, so that means I'm spending like 50 cents a month on hosting, something like that. So pretty darn cheap. And I'm using the Divi theme for this, which we bought for my wife a while ago. And so I get to do this all for free. Actually, I think those ones still sit on one of the other ones. I need to transfer it over. I think this one's actually built with, I always forget the name, Optimizer? I think it's Optimizer. But we had the free version of that one, and so we're still messing around with it. But I mean, this is another option, and again, you have to learn how to use the system. You have to learn how to use these new platforms. But at the same time, the money that you can save as compared to spending $10 a month, $20 a month on something like Jimdo or with Weebly, then you're going to save quite a bit of money going this way. And then again, the cheapest and fastest way to do it, like I said, if you're already with Weebly, is to do the archive, and you can actually do the same thing with WordPress. You can download an archive of your site or a backup of the site, and you can actually take that and you can upload it to a new URL if you want. And then to do that, you'll want to use a program. It's called Filezilla. Let me find it real quick, and I can show you guys what that looks like. And this is a free software. It's actually really cool. And we're not going to do anything with that right now. But what you do is you connect this to your hosting provider, and then you can take the website that you want to upload, which will usually be somewhere over here. Select all the files, push the button, and then we'll upload all those files to your website, and then you don't have to worry about it. And it's really, really cool. And it's a lot faster too. So it's a little bit of work. There's a little bit of technical stuff that goes into it. But if you do want to go this route, you're going to have to do at least a little bit of work in order to, get the results for free. And that's really the case for a lot of this. You're paying for the convenience. You're paying for somebody else to do the work for you. And so if you decide to do it yourself, then you can do it for free, but you're going to have to put the time into learning how to do it. Where'd my notes go? Oh, another cheap option if you just want a website, if you just want somewhere to post content. And again, this definitely wouldn't work for our Mobius site. But if you were to just do something with like Blogger, then this would probably work just fine for you as well. Get the blog. So I did one here, and this is going to be an affiliate site where I'm selling different kinds of glue, which sounds silly, but there's a lot of traffic for it. And so I can make a blog on here for free. I can post my content on here. I can put my different pages on here, which I haven't added any yet. But this is all free, and is also going to be ranking a lot better because it is a blogspot.com subdomain. And so I'm going to start off with a lot of kind of like an initial boost. I'm going to start out stronger than everybody else because I already have that a little bit of that authority from the Blogspot domain. And so if you're looking for just an easy way to just get content from one site to another, and you don't care about the price, and if you don't care about being a subdomain, then that is an option. Again, I did say that getting rid of a website that's a subdomain is a reason to migrate to a different platform. But if you don't care, this is an option. Phew. Okay. So I'm just double checking my notes. So I've talked about when to migrate, when not to migrate, different ways to migrate, options to migrate to. Yeah. As far as the way, how to do it, like I said, we're talking about the HTML exports, exporting a backup, then uploading it with Firefox. Another option is just to hire somebody to do it. And I did briefly mention that if you want to have somebody just build a website for you or copy that website, we can actually do that with this service right over here. So this is gabwin.com, and this is my site, or my wife's sites. So she has decided to go ahead and launch her career as a website designer. And so one of the things that she's doing right now is, if you have a website that's like very, very simple like this, it's text with a few pictures and things like that, then she can actually transfer this all over to WordPress, and she charges about $200 for it. The bigger the site, obviously, is going to cost more. But for something like this, it's at $200, and then you get it set up and it's done. You don't have to do anything else with it. So, for example, for the gentleman who asked our question, he's talking about leaving the site for a couple of years, right? And so if he's going with this route, that's going to be $180, and with this one for 2 years, that's $240. Is it 240? I think that's actually more. 20 times 24, $480. So you'd actually save $300 going that route, and then you don't have to pay for anything else. So that is another option that I forgot to mention before. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is the hard part. Okay, so the hard part of doing all of this is transferring the URL. So for example, if you have if you buy a domain through Weebly, or if you buy a domain through Jimdo, or you buy a domain through Wix or any of these other platforms, then if you want to move your website to a different platform in the future, then you're kind of in a bit of a pickle. Okay, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to get that domain from them to somewhere else. And that's one of the reasons that I always recommend that you guys actually buy your domains with like a hosting provider, because then you're able to switch out the platforms without any trouble. So like, I buy a lot of my domains here on Namecheap, or I'll also buy them on HostGator, and then I can point that same that domain, I can put it on WordPress, I can put it on Weebly, I can put it on whatever the heck I want. And I have. And so this makes the process a whole lot easier. Now, in this particular case, like with these guys, if you were to purchase a domain through them, they'll actually give you a free .website domain right there. It says if you already have a website with another provider, we'll help you move it to Namecheap for free. Now, this is probably the most technical part of the entire process if you decide to switch the domain as well. I recommend that you change the domain. It is going to be a little bit more expensive, but the benefits and the control that you'll have over your site in the future are really worth the money, at least in my opinion, in my professional opinion. So Namecheap will help you do it for free, and I believe that these guys will do it too. Yeah. So HostGator actually has a team, a migrations team, that will actually help you process all that. And so the way that that works, and unfortunately I can't log into my servers or my domain panels in order to show you that, because it has a lot of my personal information. I don't want to get screwed. Is you first have to unlock your domain, and then you'll get a transfer code, and then you take that code and you give that to the new hosting provider, and then they're able to go in and make those changes. They go back and they talk with the first hoster or hosting provider, and then they switch out those domains. So it's a little annoying. Some hosting providers will actually charge you for this to process the transfers. So like, I had one client who was with Yellow Pages. They had some Yellow Pages website builder plan thing that she was signed up for, and that was a pain. And I think they end up charging you like $30 for that. One second, we got a question real quick from Mr. Dial In for Controller. It says, how is it the hosting is free after the $200 rebuild transfer fee? Is this the hosting on your servers? Or maybe I misunderstood the monthly yearly cost. Thanks. So if you wanted to switch it over to like one of my servers, we could do that. But what I was referring to is based on how much you're paying over here, right? So for example, if you're going with the $20 one, which is what I would assume, then you're looking at spending $240 a month for your hosting, right? And that's just to keep the website up and active. Now, if you were to come over here, you can spend $10 for the entire year worth of hosting, and then you spend a one-time fee of the $200 for the site. Whoops, not times, plus. So you'd be spending $210 as compared to spending $240 by staying on Jimdo. So you save 30 bucks. And so that's kind of what I was referring to. You could also go with one of the other plans, and it would cost, or a different provider, so something like HostGator, it would cost a little bit more. So like this would be $60. And then also if you're planning on keeping the website, in this dormant state for a couple of years, like 2 years, then that same price over here would cost you $480. Whereas compared to doing this, then you'd only have to pay the extra $40 for the second year. And so you'd be spending a total of $250 as compared to almost $500. So that's the price difference that I was referring to. I hope that answers your question. But yeah, so let's see. So we went over the domain transfer part as well, and that's basically everything that you would need to know in order to make a transfer like this. The only other bit of advice that I would give you is to try and keep a copy somewhere of all the content that you have on your website, because otherwise there's a good chance that you'll lose it. So for example, I have my blog here, and I have been blogging since February of 2014, so a little over 3 years, and I have maybe 100 posts on here altogether, possibly more. And so if luckily I had this Weebly copy of it, but if I just switched everything straight over to WordPress, I would have lost all this information. So make sure to make some sort of a backup of the website, or at least of the content that you want to keep, so that way it doesn't get lost. So that's the other thing. Cool, glad to hear it. So yeah, that basically covers everything that I have, at least as far as how to transfer these domains, when we transfer, and stuff like that. If there are any other questions in the chat, then let me know, and I'll answer them as best I can. This actually went a little bit faster than I was expecting, which is great. We love it when things go faster than we're expecting. Otherwise, I'm going to get back to work. I am working on, oh shoot, what am I working on today? I'm doing influencer lists. I don't even know why I had this thing on. I don't listen to anything. Building influencer lists for a couple of clients, and it is long, boring work. I basically have a list of all the websites that are blogs that kind of talk about specific subjects, and then I get to go through them one by one, and I check all their backlinks. I check to see what kind of organic keywords what kind of keywords they're ranking for organically, what kind of traffic I think they're getting for it, and then I pick out the best ones and I send those off to my clients. And so that's long, boring, tedious work, but it's pretty cool. So the list that I put together today, it was 27 websites. I started off with a little over 200, so I got rid of like 90% of them. And the total reach for these websites was a little over 91 million people a month. So there's a lot of potential there for this client to make some money, which is pretty neat. So that's what I've been working on. It's probably what I'll keep working on. And my wife, she's working on this. She has a bunch of new designs that she wants to add to this, and it's pretty cool. If you guys do decide that you want to get like a really simple WordPress website, then she's doing these. Let me pull these ones up. This one's my favorite. Hurry up. There you go. Very simple websites. These are made specifically for translators, just like freelancers in general, and they're really, really cool. So it shows like the number of words translated. You got like your resume down here and contact stuff, and so pretty neat. And it actually comes with all like the SEO stuff built into it, because I helped build it from the back side of the thing. So like, you look at this part, and then behind it, all the SEO is already done. So I just have to go in and change a couple of your own individual details, and then you're ready to go, and it's really cool. So if you guys do need a website or like like I said, these ones are built specifically for freelancers, but she can do all kinds of cool stuff. So she's doing this. She's working on my Utah SEO site right now as well. I wonder if it's done enough that I can show it. Oh, bummer. She won't let me show it yet. But hopefully I'll have that up sometime this week. So I'm excited about that. We're gonna start adding. I'm gonna start adding blog posts to it. So questions like this would make really good blog posts. We can put like different product reviews and things like that. And they're also working on our email list so that we can send you guys information and like special offers and things like that. So all really cool stuff. We got to hurry and get that website up. And we're actually transferring that. We're migrating that website from where was it before? It was with Adobe Muse, but like I said, we wanted to add the blog functionality to it, and so we're bringing it over to WordPress as well. So cool stuff. Lots of stuff going on. Busy, 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 busy. But that's the way we like it. So I don't see any more questions in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing off, and I'm going to get back to work. And I think that'll do it. We will do our next live stream next Tuesday. Same time, same place, same channel. I never thought I'd say that and be serious. Same time, same channel. And in that one, we're going to be talking about the difference between general or like a nationwide SEO versus local SEO. So how to attract local clients as compared to attracting clients on a global scale. So pretty interesting. There's the concepts are the same, but the resources are different. So we're just going to go over that and talk about how you can find some local clients. So yeah, I guess we'll see you guys in that video next week. It's already up on the channel if you guys want to set your reminders. You can also subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click on the where are you? They changed it. I don't think it'll work because I'm looking at my own channel. Next to the subscriber button, there should be like a little bell thing. If you click on that, you'll get notifications when I upload stuff. And this Friday, I have another tutorial going up. I forget what it's about, but I have to hurry and finish starting on that too. So yeah, that'll do it for me. Have yourselves an excellent day, and I will see you guys again on Friday. Yeah.